How's it going, gamers? I'm here to talk about competitiveness in video games and how it's changed from when I was a youngin'. I was born in 1998, which is just after the release of some of the most praised consoles ever, like the N64 and the PlayStation. I know a decent amount about that generation of consoles, but they're older than me, so I don't care. But not really. I just want to start this video where I was first exposed to video games, and that's with this generation. My first console ever was the GameCube, where I enjoyed classic video games like LEGO Star Wars the video game, LEGO Star Wars the original trilogy, and LEGO Star Wars the complete saga. And that's not a joke, some of my fondest memories are playing the LEGO Star Wars video games with my younger brother. But on the GameCube I also played Tony Hawk's Underground, Super Smash Bros. Melee, Mario Kart Double Dash, all great video games. And all of these games have competitive ways to play them, except for LEGO Star Wars, which is not exactly true. I remember Complete Saga having like a versus mode, which was really ridiculous and not very fun, but we sure played it. But I was completely and totally blissfully ignorant to my complete and utter lack of skill in these competitive video games. The only person that I ever had to compete against was my younger brother, so I felt like a god gamer. I was in this really cute little bubble where I won every single game, and that's just the way it was. I didn't have to tackle the concept of losing in any way, or even have to manage to get any better at all. There was just no challenge at all, which is totally fine for a 4 to 7-year-old child. I had this GameCube for literal years, but its grasp on my life did eventually begin to loosen with the release of After 9 years of owning a GameCube and playing my brother in Smash Bros. And not getting literally any better at it, I found myself in the possession of an Xbox 360. Of course, the GameCube wasn't my only exposure to video games. I dabbled in PS2s that my mom's occasional boyfriends had. But in 8th grade, when I was 13 years old, I got my own Xbox 360. And this opened me up to video games like Call of Duty Modern Warfare, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, and Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. But of course, competitive gaming on the 360 wasn't all about the Halos and the Call of Duties and the FPSs. It also had games like Skate and Mortal Kombat 9 and Just Dance, which I was really bad at and was really not my game. Coincidentally, this was also around the time when I started making my first couple of friends and stopped being a quiet, uncomfortable, shy, all-around garbage human being. And when you play video games in small, tight-knit groups of friends, there's that slight inherent skill bias toward the person that owns the video game, which often happened to be me, except for Just Dance, which was all my mother, and a little bit my brother. They both quite enjoyed that video game. But playing competitively with my friends opened me up to a whole new world of balanced, competitive gameplay that I hadn't experienced before. I actually had a chance to lose now. When it came to skill level, knowledge of the games, time put into it, we were all pretty evenly matched. And when I look back on my competitive gaming history, if you will, this is the time that I look back on with the most fondness. I think this perfect balance that we felt back in those days is what drives me to play competitive games nowadays. I'm continuously striving to find that feeling again, and it hasn't worked out yet. And there's a reason for this. There are a few things that have changed, that are present nowadays, that kind of ruin this feeling for me. Most of my issues can be blamed on having an internet connection. Having an internet connection just ruins so much of what I used to love about just playing competitive video games locally with my pals. We couldn't look up all of the combos for a character in Mortal Kombat 9, and we couldn't look up the best weapon combination in Modern Warfare, and we couldn't put ourselves up against pro skate players who actually knew what they were doing. And yes, I do realize that these games had internet capabilities built into them. I just didn't have access to it until the middle of high school when I got internet, because I was poor as fuck. But my point is that lacking any knowledge of any type of meta for any type of game really enhanced my experience of it every time. Whenever I take a net deck off of the internet or play an Overwatch character because I know that they're supposed to be good, it takes away from the experience. And when I'm playing a game of teamfight tactics and I lose to the same comp 6 games in a row, it feels pretty bad. There was a time when I couldn't boot up a Twitch stream, see Witwix playing Mario Maker 2 4 times better than I could ever play it without even trying. There was a time that I couldn't look up the best Smash Bros. Players in the world and watch them all battle it out in a tournament. Just seeing some players that are so clearly more skilled than I will ever be makes me lose some of that magical feeling, that fake thought in the back of my head that would go, "You're a fucking god at this video game," when I was the only one that knew how to do special attacks in Mortal Kombat 9. And my final issue with competitive gaming is just a lack of time that I have to put in. As a kid, all of my spare time was designated to video games in one form or another, and I had a lot more spare time to begin with. So becoming an MLG Overwatch player, or Magic the Gathering Arena player, or Teamfight Tactics player is a lot more daunting of a task when you don't have the time to put in. The notion of that for me is just ridiculous because I don't have the amount of hours to put in to get that good at anything nowadays. Sometimes I just wish I had a time machine to go back to simpler times. Or I wish that metas just didn't form. But I think there are better odds of a new Star Fox game being announced, which I am so adamantly sure won't happen that I have announced publicly, and am doing so again, that I will shave my eyebrows if it ever happens. Alright, that's gonna be it for the video, guys. Thanks for watching. I hear that if you subscribe, you get a lot more time to live or something, so slam that button. If you liked the video, think about clicking the little thumbs up underneath the video for unrelated reasons. If you want to talk about anything that I talked about in this video, you can do that in the comments. You could hit on my Twitter, that's twitter.com/SyncroChamp. You can hit my Discord server, which is this unbearable URL. I stream video games on Twitch, that's twitch.tv/SyncroChamp. Lately it's been a lot of Magic the Gathering Arena and Teamfight Tactics. If you couldn't tell, I talked about them a little bit in this video. It's kind of what sparked the idea for the video. Anyway, see you later, gamers.